We are off. We just took a little 48-hour break at the dock in Atlantic City, which was just amazing to break up the trip and really reset. We had an awesome date night last night at the boardwalk, and we didn't do any filming because we just needed to relax. But now we are on the 275 nautical mile journey from Atlantic City to Nantucket, and boy, we are just so excited to get up to New England and see all the sights there are to see. I've been looking on Pinterest for all kind of inspiration, and it's just gonna be so beautiful. I can't wait.
You know, one thing I love about these long journeys is it gives us a lot of time to talk to you guys at home and answer some of those big questions you always send us. One of those that we're gonna answer today is, why on earth did you guys buy a sailing catamaran? If you've been following along on our adventure, you'll know that Emily and I did not have any sailing experience whatsoever before buying this boat. Sure, I've been boating all my life, but sailing, hadn't done a lick of it. So we're gonna answer exactly why we decided to buy this catamaran, and more specifically, why we decided to buy a Leopard. And before we get too far into this conversation, I need you guys at home to really help me here. We need you guys to like and subscribe these videos because it helps our channel out so much. I'm gonna answer a lot of your questions in this video. If I miss anything, make sure to comment below. I'll be sure to answer it there too. Captain, would you like to go up 1 to 17?
Going up. Curtis right now, stand by.
Hey, good afternoon, Captain. Sailing vessel here off of your port. We're waiting on the fan to turn on here, so we are under motor, and we will stay clear of you guys. Looks like we might get a little close, but we will certainly stay clear.
That sounds good, Cap. I see you there.
Sounds good. Back to 16, and we'll be waiting to communicate if we need to furthermore.
There's a whole pod of dolphins out here. Dixie, did you hear me say dolphin?
Go get them.
Go get the dolphins,
No, up
Dixie.
front, Dixie.
Go get the dolphins. Go get them. Hey, Dixie, up here. Dixie, let's go see the dolphins. Let's see them. Call them. Dixie, call them. Don't go right there. Call those dolphins. Oh my goodness, there's so many!
Man, today would be the perfect day to fly the Spinnaker. We are having to motor sail right now just because we've got the wind at our back, and I just can't quite get enough. We don't have enough wind to do wing on wing, and it's just not ideal. It would be perfect conditions for the Spinnaker, but if you watched our last video, you know that we blew it out as we were 100 miles off of Cape Hatteras. And while we were just at the dock, I was able to pull it back out and kind of inspect it a little bit. Unfortunately, I can't open it all the way up because there's wind, and so we just had it in the sock. But nevertheless, I washed it out, hung it up to dry, and then stuffed it back into the sail bag so that hopefully we can take it to a sailmaker at some point along our travels and I'm praying that they can sew it all back together. It's hard to really show you with the not being in a sail loft. If we were able to open it all up, then we could really show you. But basically, this is the port seam, if you will, or the port side of the sail, and it just started, it is ripped all the way down the seam from top to bottom. So that being said, I'm hopeful that we'll actually be able to get this repaired, because it does go right down the seam. So it's not ideal conditions today, which kind of something we're going to talk about in the rest of this story and kind of some of our points of sailing.
What do you see?
A couple fishing boats. There's one over here. There's one out in front of us a little bit.
They're a long way from home.
Not too bad, not too bad. New York is, let's see, Manhattan is up the river a little bit, but it's, well, hold on. $60 miles. So we're 60 miles, I guess that would be southeast of Manhattan. One of the products that I absolutely love using, I got very lucky, have a great uncle that sent these as a wedding gift to Emily and I. These are, if you're not familiar with them, they are stabilizing binoculars, and on the boat as you are rocking and rolling, these things are absolutely amazing. They're really pricey, which is why I would have never been able, we would have never bought them ourselves. So, you know, everyone has those awesome uncles. Well, this was a present from my awesome uncle Larry, and if you do have the opportunity to get a pair of these on your boat, highly recommend it. They are worth their weight in gold, and you do have to pay the price of gold for them, but I think they're about $1,800, somewhere in there. Yeah, certainly big thank you to Uncle Larry for those. You know, truth be told, if it was up to me, I would have a power boat and I would be going as fast as I possibly can. 60 miles an hour, hair going backwards because of the breeze, like eyelids fold back, like that's what I would be doing if it was up to me. But when we started thinking about this lifestyle and all the places we wanted to go, we knew that we wanted to cross oceans. And while as much as I would love to have purchased a transatlantic, you know, motor yacht, you know, something, you know, 120 foot, maybe like 3 or 4 crew, you know, it's constantly polishing the gunnel, making sure it's nice and all the stainless steel is nice and shiny. It just wasn't in the cards for us, right? And sure, we could have tried to continue on our careers and maybe have that one day, but truthfully, working for someone else, I don't think that's ever gonna come, right?
No.
And being the entrepreneur, or having the entrepreneur spirit that I have, I tried a couple different businesses that just didn't pan out. So I said, you know what, let's change our lifestyle completely. And that's why we came up with this idea. I got a question for you sailing gurus out there, and that is feathering versus folding props. See, on Adventure Cruise, we have 3-blade fixed props still, and this is something that I really want to change because, as I was just experimenting with, and this actually comes up to another question of mine, do you need to keep it, is it okay to keep the props in neutral or gear in neutral, or do you need to lock them in reverse? I've heard that some people say put them in neutral, it's not gonna matter. Some people say lock them in reverse, lock them in place so that you're not spinning the bearings. At the end of the day, we lose at least a full knot when sailing, when I lock them in reverse. I've always have locked them in reverse since buying the boat, but today I've actually left it in neutral and was playing around with it a little bit. And as they all say, the props that we have are like pulling 5-gallon buckets through the water 4 feet down, right underneath. So it's true. We lose every bit of a knot, if not a knot and a half, while sailing when we lock them in place. So anyways, today I've got them in neutral, but yeah, definitely want to know whether we should lock them in place or keep it in neutral, and or feathering versus folding props. What is your experience with those? Because I definitely will be looking to talk to the industry experts at the next, at the Annapolis Boat Show, or even Newport if they're there, on this particular topic. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you're enjoying it. And if you haven't already, make sure to smash that subscribe button.
We want to tell you about a couple things happening with our channel. First off, we now have a merch store.
That's right, we've got merch, people.
We got merch. So we've been working behind the scenes for really the last couple of months to design things that are what we think are cool and that you'll think are cool and you'll be excited to wear.
Not just our logo, like we want things that people will want to wear because they want to support us, but also because they want to wear it. Like,
yeah. So after you're done watching this video, go check out shoptheadventurecruise.com. I think you'll find the designs to be really cool, and we're super excited about it. We're gonna have that on hand at the Newport and Annapolis boat shows. We are so excited to see all of you guys there. So you can use either of these codes that we have on the screen right here to get $5 off. Again, that helps us when you purchase using our link, but we're just so stoked to be moving forward and have a merch store. It's been something we've gotten a lot of questions about, and we're just so excited to put that out there with the world now.
Yeah, so guys, thank you so much for your support. The channel is growing and we are having the time of our lives shooting these awesome videos for you. We hope you're enjoying them. And if you haven't seen all of the other ones, well, go back and watch them because there's a lot of videos on our channel now, and we're excited for you to binge watch them.
So we're fortunate enough starting out on this patch is that we have some calm weather so I can get some editing done. And that's one of the things we love about our boat. When we first started looking at boats, we were quickly drawn to catamarans over monohulls just simply because of their space. We really wanted the creature comforts. And I know if you get a big monohull, you can also have the creature comforts. But for us, we really didn't want to have to deal with heeling over when sailing. And some people will say, they're not real sailors, and you know, to each their own. But for us, we really love the stability of a catamaran, the space it provides, and I love that I can get work done while sailing, not at an angle. And another thing that we really loved about the catamaran is the 2 hulls. We have a whole hull dedicated to our side, which is great for us to have the extra space. It's basically like an owner's suite. It's called an owner's version. You can see more of that on our full boat tour. And then if at any point in time we do want to have guests on board, there's 2 cabins on that side as well too that's available for guests. So for us, that is just why we chose a catamaran over a monohull, and so far, a year in, we've been really happy with it. Yeah, are you ready? All right. Now that the sun is going down, really has me feeling the chill. I have my sweatshirt on and my HH windbreaker and my leggings, and I'm about to cuddle up in this outdoor blanket for the night because I have a feeling it's only gonna get cooler from here. We've never used these before. I'm so excited. Woohoo!
How'd you hear about those blankets?
So our friends, they're no longer cruising, but they're on Instagram as the Boo Crew, B-O-U. And we met them over on the east coast of Florida when we were still in the planning phases of all this, and they had these blankets. They had green ones. So I found them on Amazon, and I got 2 blue ones for Cole and I, and I've never used it until now, so I'm pretty stoked.
I'm just laughing because by the looks of Emily right now, you would think it's like 40 degrees out. It's totally like,
85.
it's totally like 78 degrees. 78 with some wind.
We're about 65 nautical miles away from our destination. Changed plans a little bit. We're actually going to go into Martha's Vineyard and anchor out there for the night before traveling onward to Nantucket, just simply because we'll be getting to Nantucket at night, and since it's an area that's unfamiliar, we just really don't want to do that. Yeah, but we had a pretty good night. At one point in the night, Cole was on watch, and there were dolphins that were coming up and reaching by the boat. You could hear their blowhole, which was really, really cool. And then about 4 this morning, we had some storms roll in, but I watched them on the radar. They came within about 4 miles of us, and then they just moved up north and went away. So we didn't even see a drop of rain from it, but there was lightning all around us. So it's really cool and definitely comforting when I can watch a storm on the radar literally move away. And thanks to Justin from Swell Sails from giving us a heads up about that. So we did know that that was coming, so we could look out for it. But the trip so far has just been really, really smooth, which is much needed after the last few days if you watched our last video.
Good morning, New England! Oh gosh, for all you movie buffs out there, comment below if you know what that is resemblance of. Of course, I won't ever do it as good as Robin Williams, but nevertheless, I just woke up to this nastiness. I don't know if it's gonna be quite as bad as Nam, but certainly seems like we need to batten down the hatches. Emily's just laughing at me right now. Oh, gosh, I love all 2 hours of sleep I've gotten, maybe 3 at best. We are, well, I can see on radar, I can see Martha's Vineyard. Good old Gay Head, which is the corner where the lighthouse is. And I can also see this massive storm. So let me turn the camera around and show you guys exactly what I'm looking at. So, this up here is Martha's Vineyard. This right here is that storm, same storm here. Yeah, it doesn't look good. Looks like it is coming for us. So, we've got sails put away. Of course, there really wasn't any good wind anyhow. It's been off and on. It's actually picking up right now as the storm is approaching us. But put the sails away so we don't have to worry about that. We always like to, maybe we're over precautious, but at this point, after what happened earlier in this trip, but yeah, I'm exhausted, I'm tired. We're burning diesel, which I don't like, but it's cold and we're getting close.
turn us around. We just saw 50 knots on the wind instrument. This is so scary.
Holy cow, 40 miles an hour. We just saw 53 miles an hour, or knots, 53 knots.
Be safe, stay inside.
I am shaking right now. $33 knots right now, still. That microburst came out of nowhere. 53 knots of wind just went from 12 knots to 53 knots in the matter of seconds. I can't believe we had our sails down. Had we had our sails up, that would have been like...
Well, we saw the storm coming and we immediately took them down.
Oh my gosh. Everything is just soaked.
Everything started flying and I started throwing it under the table. The cushions, when that happened, they were about to lift up and I grabbed them and threw everything under the table that I could.
It's still 34 knots.
Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna turn us back onto our path. The wind's gonna be at our back, but everything's already soaked, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Oh my gosh. Guys, I don't know if we just captured how intense that was on camera. In fact, I don't think we did. But I can tell you right now, that is probably the scariest storm that we've ever encountered. I mean, it went from
1000%.
it went from just a little bit of wind or normal wind at 12 knots to 54 knots in the matter of probably 3 minutes, like if that. I'm speechless right now. I have no idea how to even explain what just happened. The only thing I could think to do was to, as the wind's blowing in from the back of the boat, I just did my best to stop us and pivot and turn the boat, put the nose into the wind and let her eat. I mean, that's all you can do. At the same time, we've got 6 fishing vessels all around us right now, and only one of them's on AIS. I do see 2 or 3 of them on radar, but even then they blend in with the storm on radar when it's that heavy. Maybe I could change some settings on my radar, but whew, that was intense. And to think that we left the Bahamas because we were worried about storms. Oh man. All I can say is I am just so thankful that we have this enclosure, and I put it down because I saw the storm coming. Like, I can't imagine going through what we just went through and not having an enclosure. Like, it's just not, I don't want to say it's not smart, but it's certainly not safe. I mean, the fact that we had this enclosure gave me a safe space to work in, to maneuver the boat. Had I had 50 mile an hour or 50 knot, blowing rain in my face, how could I have done anything? I don't know. Like, anyways, my rant is over. If you're looking to buy a boat, and you're following us because that's the journey you want to go down, make sure you have an enclosure. Spend the $3,000 or whatever it is to have a proper enclosure to make sure that you are safe from the elements. And just like that, as fast as the storms come, they're now gone. So, and we were getting some decent wind now, so we're gonna put all this back up. We're gonna get these sails out and turn these engines off. You know, it was a good thing we turned the engines on and took the sails down, because those winds were no joke. In fact, 54 knots that we saw, had we had the main up, like we had 15 minutes prior to that storm coming, we very well could have demasted this boat. So, real scenario. And you know, they say reef early, reef often. Well, same thing with take your sails down early, take your sails down often. I guess it makes sense. As I get ready to pull the sail up here, get our lines ready, just want to talk a little bit about, now that we know why we bought a catamaran, the size. What size catamaran were we going to purchase? Now, Emily and I spent time on a 39 catamaran, and going from a 2,000 square foot home onto a boat full time, we really felt that the 39 or anything 38 even, Lagoon had a 380, was going to be too small for us. It was just crammed. The bulkheads were right at the entrance of the bed, so you just really felt like you were kind of climbing into a box, if you will, in the beds. And then, of course, we spent some time on a 48 Leopard, and we fell in love with not only the size of the 48, but also fell in love with Leopard as a brand while spending time on that boat. And of course, we went to all the boat shows, and it really came down to what was the biggest boat we could get with our budget, right? And that came down to either a 42, a 44, or a 45, based on the different models and brands. And we knew that we wanted one of the three big brands, Lagoon, Fountain Peugeot, or Leopard. And as we continued our research, we really fell in love with Leopard as a whole. So at the end of the day, size is a big deal, because the bigger the boats, the better it's gonna handle seas, and the more comfort you're gonna have. But at the same time, the more headaches you're gonna have too, and the more bills you're gonna have. Bigger boat, bigger problems. So there's certainly a balancing act that has to be played when finding the perfect size, and we felt that we did that really well when we picked the 44. One thing that I wish I had when I first started the boat buying process, or when Emily and I first started looking at boats, was a comprehensive budget of what exactly it was going to cost. Now, of course, the way you spend your money and the way I spend my money are two different places, I promise you. So it's not for everyone, but I did go ahead and put together a budget after some time of looking at boats. I said, I've got to figure this out. I've got to figure out what type of budget we're gonna need. So we've been using that budget now for over a year, and after getting so many questions about how do you live this lifestyle, how can you afford it, and what does it truly cost, we decided to put that budget and actually put it on our website and share it with folks like yourself at home. So right now there's a QR code on your screen. If you scan that, it takes you directly to our website where you can download a sample budget. Now, I used that sample budget and put it together based off of a new Leopard 45, but it's a great building block or starting platform for you to kind of plug in the numbers as you see fit. And let me remind you, we've seen people doing this with boats less than $20,000, and we've seen people doing this with multi-million-dollar boats and everything in between. So there's a lot of room to play around with it, but at least it's a great starting point if you are interested in this lifestyle.
Whew, we have made it.
Like that. The grill is lit and getting hot. The anchor is set. The engines are off. The
Feels
sails
so
are put
good.
away. And it is beautiful out here.
It's so nice. Yeah, the reward after a crazy day of storms.
You know, for me, this is really cool. Like, this is a 1,000-mile trip that Emily and I just did by ourselves. And, you know, it's one thing to like bring a boat up the East Coast. Like, you know, it's pretty cool in itself. I think that's an accomplishment, but this is our home, and we just took our boat all the way from the Bahamas to Florida, and then from Florida all the way up the East Coast here to Martha's Vineyard. Tomorrow my mom flies in. We get to we got a 30-mile hop over to Nantucket, pick up my mom and my aunt.
Yeah.
And I am just so excited to be here, so happy to be here. I feel like a weight is lifted off my shoulders because it was a little stressful with the storms for sure. And we haven't been sleeping all that great. I think I probably got 2 hours of sleep last night. So I'm ready to just relax and enjoy New England and all its beauty.
Yes, what he said. I'm not doing any more work tonight, except for cleaning up the dishes.
Thank you guys for joining us. That's right. Yeah, we're gonna cook some burgers, right? True American style.
America.
But hey, thanks for joining us, guys. We really appreciate it. And
be sure to hit that subscribe button.
Yes, please.
We'll see you
and the
next
like
week.
button.